I was just having this discussion with somebody on our team, and I was talking about how I learned infinite banking. So what I did is I went to Nelson's 10-hour workshop. Then I went to it again. Then I went to it again. And then I called him a million times, and I'd ask him every stupid question that I could think of. Right. And I think he thought I was slow in the beginning, because he'd say, Jim, how many times have you read my book? And he had the greatest Southern drawl. And I'd say, I think I've read it 10 times. He goes, go back and read it again. And he would just, tell me that, or, maybe you need to come to another workshop. And so, but in conjunction with that, I read every book on the subject I could get my hands on. Every banking book. I ordered Bauer financial reports and read them. I even bought part of a bank to understand how the bank thinks and makes money. I mean, I did everything. Now, I will tell you that the stuff that I learned from Nelson was 10x efficient, 10x value to all the stuff that I read, right? And I read all the bad books on this subject. And I could name them, but we won't. Okay. And I know the bad books on real estate. I've read some of those, right? I'm sure you have too. But, if you could leverage somebody else's experience and their time, right? Then, there's a lot of people out there that I would call mentors. They don't even know I exist. But I've taken what they tell me and they've written or they've recorded, and I've used it. So they are mentoring me, whether they like it or not. And I'm sure they do like it. And then the other thing is, take a handwritten note and send it to the author or to somebody with the workshop with specific questions, or send them a specific email. How many times do people do that with you, Logan? Send you, hey, really love that. And I'm really interested. I just had a few questions. Do you get any of those? Never, right? Never. Now, by the way, if you did, you'd answer it.
Yeah.
Right? Because that person would stand out and you'd say, well, let me tell you why I say it this way, and then guess what? Now we have communication. And if we have communication, now we have a relationship. Now, that's a person you could come back to and say, hey, I ran into this problem. Do you have any resources for this or this or this? Now we're building a community. Now we're collaborating, right? And I always say collaborate with people, don't compete with people, because we're always the buyer. We're never selling anything. We don't sell people infinite banking. We're not the hero in that story. You're not selling people on workshops and courses and things like that. Absolutely not. You're buying, like, hey, I'm going to show you something. And I'm going to give you the confidence that maybe you wouldn't have on your own to go take action. So, when we think about that, what do you think? Okay, so you gave one example of organization kind of being one of your superpowers, right? What's another superpower, or what's this? Maybe somebody in your team that you don't have that superpower, that they have that unique ability or something that you could collaborate with, or that you found that and how did you start that? Like mentors or reading or whatever?
Yeah, reading is probably the biggest one that has helped me. But I also tell you, because I read a book a week. I've been doing that for 4 years, and before that I did one a month. So I started speeding it up, because I think the superpower of the future for everybody is being able to learn and change, because whatever you learn today is going to change. So you need to be like really, really good at constantly evolving yourself and enjoy that evolution. So I enjoy the journey way more than I do the destination. Anytime I think I'm getting close to my destination, I think my goals are too small. And I kick my goals further down, and then I'm like, man, I don't know enough. Like I don't know enough, and I gotta evolve, and I gotta learn. And a piece of for advice for anybody that does have people on their team, like I think it's really important to actually surround yourself with people that are have strengths that are different than you, that are smarter than you when it comes to those things, so they can balance you and help you drive for results. I would tell you that I am very sometimes can get very driven and very emotional on things. And one of the people that support me the most is always just super calm and collected. So if I get really upset over something dumb, he's my first call, because I know if I call anybody else, I'm going to make a mistake. And I know that he's going to either be like, you have the right to be pissed. Let's talk about how we communicated effectively, because you're probably not going to. Or, he's like, you're just not level-headed right now. Like, this isn't actually that big of a deal. So for that would be like one example. And I have a lot of opportunities. Everybody does. But, even if they're not in your team, even if you like were me, I didn't have a team till like 100 units. Honestly, I had a third-party property manager who was great, but I didn't have a team. I didn't have an actual employee. So, but it can be friends. It can be what you said. It can be people, other business associates. Just look at, like, find that person, because you know who they are. They're just better, naturally gifted at things that you're not naturally gifted at. And when you go through a situation where there's an opportunity that is going to expose you, don't let it expose you. Call them first, and I guarantee you will be better afterwards.